walking hand in hand with three armed men. Will not understand. Should have bought shoes yesterday. Oh, should have bought shoes yesterday. Now I can't tell you how many ways that I've subdued my life today, and I can tell you I don't think that I can find an easy way. So if I see you walking hand in hand with three armed men, will I understand? Should have bought shoes yesterday. Oh, should have bought shoes yesterday. Anyway, congratulations. You have chosen the apocalypse. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, I am here to present another episode of the apocalypse. And also, since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. So good to see you again. Let's start off with, I talked about container ships and shipping from California and multiple cities in previous broadcasts, where I explained to you the container count is way down. In other words, the tariffs are fucking up everything, and most of the shit comes from China. So the actual containers that truckers pick up to take wherever, Walmart, where fucking ever, those numbers of containers are way the fuck down. That is a big problem. In the 3 weeks since the tariffs took effect, ocean container bookings from China to the United States are down over 60% industry-wide. Does that sound like a good thing, people? 60% industry-wide? Even if that number is not accurate, let's say it's 40%, let's say it's 30%, that's a lot of motherfuckers not shipping freight somewhere. That's a big problem for people that drive trucks, work ports, work at stores, every business. It means layoffs. That's what it means. It's not good. And it's going to catch up to us. The people that I see talking about this issue, they're mostly saying early May. This is when the inventory thing will catch up with us because of the containers not coming in from China and other places. So that's a big deal to truckers, to port workers, to businesses that sell the products. It's a big fucking deal. And we'll see some more headlines that have to do with that. Yeah, it wasn't good enough for Donnie Shitbags and the Reich to ruin Kilmar Abrego Garcia's life, his wife's life, the whole fucking thing. That wasn't good enough. They also had to publish her address in some court document or something. So now she's basically living in hiding because, you know, the MAGA psychos want to kill her or whatever. That's what they want to do with everybody that, you know, dares be a problem for the Reich. Not that she asked for this problem. Your Fuhrer caused this problem, son. Not Miss Garcia. You caused it, and your orange maniac caused it. Kilmar Abrego Garcia's wife has to deal with the nightmare of knowing she may never see her husband again, and now she's had to move her 3 kids, 2 with special needs, to a safe house because the U.S. government published her address. You're dealing with pure evil here, people. And they don't mind sicking the cult on anyone. And I mean fucking anyone. Even a mother whose husband they stole admitted they weren't supposed to deport him. A lawyer for the government did. Refused to bring him back, make it a point to be as cruel and evil as possible. Now they publish her address. So the cult here can go after his wife now? Do you realize you people are evil that support this? Do you realize the level of evil I'm talking about here? You probably don't, hence your vote for Donnie Shitbags, hence your continuing support for the Antichrist. Because that's what you're doing, son. And again, not an Antichrist, the Antichrist. This is the proof of it right here. The wife of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man mistakenly deported to a notorious prison in El Salvador. Let's call it what it is, a death camp, because you never leave. By the Trump administration has been moved to a safe house by supporters after U.S. officials posted a court document on social media that included the family's address. If you think that was done by accident, I've got a bridge to sell you for a very good price. Jennifer Vasquez Sarah said in an interview with the Washington Post that she began fearing for her safety and that of their 3 children, 2 of whom are autistic, after verbal attacks on her husband by Trump himself, as well as taunts on social media by administration officials and Salvadorian dictator Nayib Bukele. Yeah, I wouldn't want my name on this shit when the man comes around, son. I hope you don't have your name on it. Israel is reportedly offering Gazans $5,000, a job, housing, and a monthly salary to permanently leave Gaza for countries like France, Greece, or Malaysia. In return, they must give up their Palestinian ID, surrender their land, and forfeit any right of return. Sounds like a hell of a deal, right? Especially when your land is rubble, right? It's a kind of a deal you can't refuse, isn't it? Again, Israel did have the high ground at one point, the moral high ground, right after the attack. Now they've joined with the Nazis. And they're doing shit like this. And you know, this is, again, what's the plan here? Donnie said it out loud. We're going to own Gaza. We're going to own it, which means Donnie's going to own it. That's what that means. Whenever he says we, America, blah, blah, that means him. So when he says America is making a ton of money on tariffs, that means Donnie's making a ton of money on tariffs right in his pocket. Not you. Have you seen any tariff money? No, you've been paying for them, though. My God, you people are suckers that have your name on this. Pure fucking suckers. So yeah, you get $5,000 a job, housing, monthly salary to leave your homeland, give up your land, and promise never to return. Does that sound like a good deal? Would you take that deal? If someone took over America and didn't want you there? And said, hey, we'll give you $5,000 a job, housing, monthly salary. Just got to give us your land and leave and promise never to come back. And again, if this was for a good purpose or there was some noble fucking agenda behind this, maybe you could make an argument, but there's not. The agenda is Bibi, Donnie, Jared Kushner, and others. That's if he even includes Jared. Build a resort in Gaza, as if, you know, that's necessary. Sounds like what they need is housing, not a resort, but, you know, whatever. Build a resort in Gaza and build a temple on the Temple Mount. Now, the temple itself is not a nefarious purpose or idea, in my opinion, but those of us that have sought wisdom, that know the story, know the building of the third temple is like really bad as far as an indicator of the end. So when they announce that, and they will, don't worry, at some point, probably sooner than later, When they announce that they're going to build that temple, that means there's not a lot of time left. So keep an eye out for that. And again, the agenda is simply this: clear out the Gazans, build a resort with gold Donnie statues and the whole fucking thing, build a temple. U.S. troops will be on the ground as in a freedom zone in Gaza. Israelis will be on the ground in a security zone in Gaza. Maybe we'll bomb Iran, or excuse me, maybe the Reich will bomb Iran. Maybe Israel will join in. Who knows? In the process. So there's no noble agenda here. And again, you have Netanyahu aligned with Vlad, aligned with Donnie. No good can come of this. And when that third temple gets built, no time is very short. And this is rather ugly, and it's hard for me to defend Israel on shit like this, but Israel isn't really the problem. Mr. Netanyahu and his people are the problem. And that's been for a long time. And Mr. Netanyahu needed this attack in Israel in October to save his ass. He was about to go to prison, possibly. So many similarities for certain individuals like Donnie, Leon, BB, all just skating on the edge of going to fucking jail for a long fucking time. They needed this really bad. So we've got the excuse via the attack now. Hey, Gaza's rubble. There's nothing to go back to. Donnie keeps saying it. Netanyahu says it. Donnie says we're going to own it. That came out of his mouth in the White House, out loud before the whole world. He also said we need open borders, but you rubes just let that slip right by. I knew about that plan 30 fucking years ago. I just didn't equate it to liberals like you fools did. Look at you now. You are the movement to get rid of borders. Do you even know that? But you wouldn't care as long as it has an R next to it. As long as it ain't a liberal doing it. I know. That's why you lost your country, son. And you're going to have to live through World War III because that's what all this is going to start. Once Gazans start getting cleared out, once bombings of Iran happen, and Iran has nukes. I hate to break it to you. I know they keep telling you they don't. The press, for years and years, we keep hearing this. We can't let Iran have nukes. Do you think Vlad hasn't given them a nuke by this point? They're his main ally in the Middle East, Iran. You think Vlad hasn't hooked them up yet? Of course he has. And if he hasn't, they built one. Because I've been hearing this for like 30 years. We can't let Iran get a nuke. I'm guessing they had one for probably about 20 years. Maybe longer. So I'm not buying the story that Iran doesn't have a nuke. So if we get all involved in this Israel thing, what if Iran feels backed into a corner and shoots a nuclear missile off? And I'm not saying, Iran can defeat Israel or America. What I'm saying is one nuclear missile is one too many. I don't care who shoots it. I don't care if they get destroyed 5 seconds after they shoot it. Because when people feel they're backed into a corner, and when they feel it's a holy war, Iran's capable of doing something like that. They shot 200 missiles at Israel recently. In the past year, I think it was. So this, again, could escalate into something really horrible. World War III, someone could shoot a nuke off. I'm wondering who the first person that's going to shoot a nuke off is, because that's where this is fucking going, and we all know it. Will it be Iran? Will it be Israel? Will it be America? Will it be Russia? Will it be India or Pakistan? Who the hell knows? But one's going to get shot off, don't worry. So yeah, Palestinians or Gazans can leave for this little paltry bit of promises, and all they have to do is give up their entire existence and land in Gaza. Hard to defend this. I can't do it because I know where it goes again. Temple, Trump, Gaza. And Donnie says, we're going to own it. And I don't know how any American president got away with saying, we're going to own Gaza without riots across the Muslim world. Because any other president said that? Oh my God. But I know why. It's because Vlad is aligned with those people, the Muslims that would be rioting in the streets. There are organizations that make that happen. They're funded by people like Vlad and others. The terrorist attack on Israel, that was funded by people like Vlad and others. And Netanyahu is aligned with that guy. He knows where the money came from. He knows who helped coordinate that attack and make it happen. He doesn't care. He knows Donnie takes books about the Holocaust out of military libraries on purpose. Netanyahu doesn't care. Dangerous man for the Israeli people and the Jews in general, for this man at the top and his people that don't care. They're working with Nazis in Russia and in America. Fucking, it's going to be devastating for Israel because of this man, Bibi, making that choice for you. This is about Hegseth. Recently ordered modifications to the green room next to the Pentagon press briefing room to add a makeup studio that can be used to prep for TV appearances. So Hegseth basically has a makeup studio, and I keep hearing how you dudes on the right and in the MAGA thing are alpha males, yet so many of you wear more makeup than a fucking drag queen. What's up with that? Donnie don't leave his house ever without makeup. You got your Fox News guys, makeup. You got your podcasters wearing makeup. You got fucking Hegseth wearing makeup. More worried about how they look on camera than doing the fucking job. We'll talk more about that, don't worry. Governor Andy Beshear announced that FEMA has denied public assistance for 2 counties and individual assistance for 6 counties affected by flooding in February has been denied. So first he denied Arkansas, Sarah Sanders begging on her knees, please help me, Donnie. Donnie said, fuck off, that's my money. The state can handle it, even though it's broke-ass Arkansas. Now we have Kentucky, the same thing. The governor's looking for assistance for some of his people. Donnie says, fuck off, that's my money. I don't care if you guys voted for me. I'm Caesar now. I don't ever have to leave again. My people are in place. I'm never leaving until you pry this job or this grift out of my cold, dead hands. That's Donnie now. So he doesn't need you people in Kentucky. He doesn't need you people in Arkansas anymore. Sorry. You people that voted for him that are going to lose your businesses and farms, he doesn't need you anymore. I'm sorry. You people that were pseudo-illegal immigrants and maybe had a wife or a husband that was illegal that just got deported, he doesn't need you anymore. Sorry. It was all a con. It was all a grift. You're just a mark. We've been telling you it for 10 years. You people didn't listen. Now you're going to reap the whirlwind, and it ain't my whirlwind. It's yours that you created called Donnie Shitbags. Here we go with Kentucky again, Arkansas. These are Donnie's people here, allegedly people, Donnie's people in quotes. Said, fuck Sarah Sanders, and who's more of a kiss-ass loyalist MAGA than Sarah fucking Sanders? And then the governor of Kentucky. Kentucky, I said, son. That's MAGA country. Said, fuck off. That's what Donnie thinks of you people. I told you, you're marks. A million other people told you you were not but marks all this time. Now Donnie's showing you. Governor J.B. Pritzker just announced that Illinois will be defunding investments in companies controlled by El Salvador to punish the country for holding American residents without due process. Yes, this idea came out a little while ago. I've heard people been floating it. We need to economically starve El Salvador and make a point. However, that's possible. I heard Bukele has a coffee business that's headquartered in Miami. I can't remember the name of it. Boycott that. Boycott whatever states are invested in anything El Salvador, get the money out. Make a statement. It's a great idea because that's the only thing these sociopathic cunts understand is the money going out the window. They care about nothing else. Human life, morals, decency. No, it's the Antichrist, and this is a lesser demon, one of his proteges, called Bukele. So these people are no good, and the only thing they understand is money going out the window. They care about nothing else. Nothing. So JB has got a great idea, and other people have been floating this idea. Anything else El Salvador is bad now. You know, like freedom fries and dumping wine in the gutter, like true fucking rubes for 30-year wars that get us nowhere when everybody knew it was just about fucking oil. Shit like that. President Trump announced the United States will substantially reduce tariffs on China from the current 145%. Yes, this was the other day. I have headlines from like the past 3 days because I haven't been around because I'm quite ill. Anyway, 145%. He said he's going to come down. That was the other day. Everyone said Donnie's caving. And what have I been saying and others have been saying? You can't have a trade war with China if you're America. You lose before the trade war starts. We know this. All the American corporations ship the jobs to China because they could give two fucks about Americans or America. So all the factory work is in China. And they have factories that are like 40 miles square. Okay, son? We ain't got shit like that in comparison. So China has us by the balls in any trade war. They can hurt us way more than we can hurt them. They don't need us. We need them. Donnie's caving. He started caving about 2 days ago. You'll see more lies. Again, I'm trying to give you the sense of the flow of all this. That's why I do it in a kind of, what's the word? A non-linear way. It's just kind of whatever happens throughout the day. Since taking office, Trump has greenlit nearly $12 billion in military aid to Israel, dismantling prior constraints and expediting arms transfers. What does prior constraints mean? That would mean Joe and Kamala. Remember them? Those were the prior constraints for all the people that love Palestine, and this is a very important issue for them. What's going on in Gaza between the Israelis and Gaza. Well, again, we all warned you. We all begged you. We said, don't vote out of anger at Joe and Kamala for giving the amount of help they're giving Israel because Donnie is Bibi's best motherfucking friend. You saw them again on the pool deck, the AI-generated pool deck at the Trump Gaza resort. With their hideous bodies with their shirts off. Again, it was AI generated, but you got the idea of them lounging on the pool deck as the Gazans are removed. And a resort is built. Again, we all begged you. You people that, the Palestine issue is your main issue. We begged you. We said, Donnie's Bibi's best friend. If you think Joe and Kamala are bad with this whole Israel-Palestine thing, wait till you see what Donnie does. Well, what did Donnie do? Go ahead and do whatever you want, Bibi. What do you need? Anything you need. That's what happened. Now Gaza is leveled. It is fucking ash. Now the Gazans will be removed, probably never allowed to come back before Armageddon fucking happens. That's what you've done. You people that voted the other way or third party, whatever you did, you've handed over your cause, what was most precious to you, allegedly. You've just given it to Bibi. You've given it to Donnie. You've given it to the Antichrist. Out of spite and anger. Well, we all warned you, Donnie would be 10 times worse, 1,000,000 times worse. Look, the Gazans aren't even going to be there anymore. They will be cleared out. I promise you. That's what you've done. And Gaza doesn't exist anymore. It's a rubble heap. That's what you've done. The only people I kind of consider blameless in this are the ones that stayed home because Merrick Garland let Donnie skate for 4 fucking years, and we kept getting promises, and we kept getting carrots dangled in front of our fucking face. We got straight up lied to. Merrick never intended putting him behind bars ever. And that's obvious when you look at the whole thing. So those people that stayed home and just said, fuck it, what's the fucking point? I don't blame you. What is the fucking point? If they let this guy skate right back into the fucking White House, they allow him to even run again. They couldn't even give us that bit of justice where they said he can't run again. He tried to overthrow the government. Let alone put him in prison, which again, I'm not looking for Donnie to be in prison. I'm looking for criminals to get prosecuted. And I'm sorry, whether you're the staunchest Rube or not, Donnie's a criminal and everyone knows it. We watched him on television try and overthrow the government. And that's just one example. So I'm not, it's not going to make my life any better having Donnie shitbags, strung up by the balls somewhere. I'm not one of those people. But my God, we just let him run for re-election? Again, all the J6 people, the lower end Rubes, they went to jail. Why couldn't the guy that orchestrated it all go to jail? Or just be told, yeah, you can't run again. You tried to overthrow the government. Again, not because I don't like him. You know what you saw on television. I know what I saw on television that day, January 6th. I don't care how you want to fucking spin it. Donnie invited the crowd, said it's going to be wild, ginned them all up, made them go to the Capitol. Why he had a pretend fight with a fucking Secret Service agent in a limo. I don't believe that for a second. Because he wanted to be there too. No, Donnie never wants to be in the middle of the dust up. Never. So yeah, they all went to jail. Why couldn't he, or at least be told not to run again? And one more time, I want to be real clear. Not because I don't like the man. Has nothing to do with that. If Biden tried to overthrow the government in the same manner, I'd say lock his ass up too. In a heartbeat. If Biden was doing half the shit this motherfucker was doing. Was Biden talking about annexing countries? Was Biden making commercials with gold statues of himself on the Holy Land? Was Biden saying, I'm going to take the Suez, I'm going to take the fucking Panama Canal? Was Biden opening death camps in El Salvador with your money? Was Biden, giving an office to a guy that does Nazi salutes for $230 million? Are you kidding me? And again, that's a short list. I could go all night with this shit. Donnie is astoundingly crooked. That's why he's the Antichrist. He's perfect for it. So, again, one more time. The people that the Palestine-Israel thing was their main cause. We all warned you, Donnie's going to be a million times worse. Look where you're at now. You're an inch away from the Gazans being cleared out. Gaza is leveled. Donnie's going to build a resort. Israel's going to build their temple on a Temple Mount. And allegedly money's going to rain from the sky on little Palestinian peasant children. Do you really believe that? How are there going to be Palestinian children there when they're clearing the whole fucker out? Nobody thought of that? Anyway, let me move on. Oh, this is Pete Hegseth rebuking the story about his makeup chair, makeup area, like your wife has in her, next to her powder closet and shit in your house. Little makeup area with the mirror and all her stuff. That's what Pete got going. Totally fake story. No orders and no makeup, but whatever. I feel like I'm in high school. We should have installed tampon machines in every men's bathroom at DOD. Look, he goes right for the LGBTQ shit. Look at that. Just deflect it over to the gays. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, Pete's putting more makeup on than a drag queen. What's up with that, Pete? The leftist news media would have loved that, and news is in quotes. And he's got the little banner headline, so you know what he's talking about. Hegseth orders makeup studio installed at Pentagon. Oh my God, people. We've got credible allegations of the head of the military who's not a woman and who hates anything DEI or LGBTQ. He's got a little makeup studio. Because in MAGA alpha male land, it's all about the makeup, baby. And in Pete's case, makeup and gin. But I'll talk about that later. Trump signs an executive order to promote AI training for school children. Again, I told you people that they're going to replace the teachers with AI. I've just been talking about this the past, I don't know, few weeks, month. And here we have an executive order to promote AI training for school children. And here's the point for the Reich and the rubes that don't understand. What they're going to do is just indoctrinate maybe 2-3 generations of humans. If Armageddon doesn't happen before that, I think it will. With AI teachers that will only teach Reich-approved material. Adolf Hitler would be so proud of this. That's where they're going with this, where they don't need teachers anymore. Bill Gates said it. No teachers, no doctors. AI is going to do it all. So again, Reich-approved propaganda in your children's ears for 2 or 3 generations. There's no coming back from that. There's no fixing that. There's no fixing those kids' brains. It's over. For the world. Because this is going global, baby. I don't know if you know that. You think the annex talks for nothing? You think when Donnie Shitbag says we need open borders in a dementia-ridden moment, he lets the plan slip? That it's not going global? It is. Sorry to break it to you. So this just won't be an American thing. Donnie thinks he's Caesar of the world. Again, that's why he's just telling other countries what to do outright now. So telling Britain, if you don't, if your British companies don't abide our anti-DEI agenda, the Reich's agenda, we're going to sanction you, fine you, not do business, whatever. Again, people, never give these people the benefit of the doubt. The plan is utterly evil, utterly nefarious. They're showing it to us every day. You saw what happened today with the judge, and we'll get to that. We keep crossing lines deeper and deeper into fascism, and not many people give a fuck. But I personally thought it was too late the second Donnie got the keys in January. It was already over, if I'm being honest. But this AI training thing, I mean, that horrifies me to think of 2 or 3 generations of children being taught Reich-approved material. I know Armageddon's going to happen before that, but if they all got their wish, that's where they wanted to go. The open borders thing, when Donnie slipped and said that in the fucking White House. And you rubes pretended you didn't hear it because Donnie said it. That's to get the cheapest labor pool from wherever his oligarchy, his would be Greenland, Canada, America, Mexico, Central America, the top of South America. That would be Donnie's territory. But what they don't know is Donnie wants all of it. Donnie's the beast. He's the Antichrist. He doesn't just want some of it. He wants all of it. That's what Vlad doesn't know. That's what Leon doesn't know. etc. Leon wants all of it too. That Pepe Frog Caesar thing he hangs on his wall, that ain't for nothing, son. So again, this training school children, you don't have to worry about loyalty of other human beings teaching children. They will just teach Reich-approved material, and in 2 or 3 generations, the human race is forever altered. That's their plan. Hopefully, that does not come to fruition, and I pretty much guarantee that won't fully come to fruition. In other words, when Bill Gates says things like, in 10 years, I don't think there's going to be an in 10 years. Not currently the way it is, anyway. It'll be something totally new. And a lot of people will be gone, and a lot of people will be crying. Some tears of joy, many tears of despair. Breaking news. The women that were deported and turned away from CCOT prison in El Salvador were then sent to Laredo Processing Center in Texas, which is run by Core Civic, a for-profit prison. You can even buy their stock if you want. This gentleman did a whole video about it. Core Civic is the name of the company. We asked the question, or I did, where are the women going? We know where the men went. They went to the death camp in El Salvador. Where are all the women going? Well, we know about a group of women that was sent back from El Salvador because Donnie wasn't paying for women. That's what Bukele said. You got to pay extra for that, I guess. I don't know. So Donnie or Bukele wanted more money for the women, so he decided, I'm just going to send the women back to America. So they got stuck in the processing center in Texas, Laredo, at a Core Civic for-profit prison. Yes, we are at the point in history where people make money making sure bodies are locked behind bars. Guess how you don't make money? If bodies are not locked behind bars. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? In other words, there's a huge financial incentive for these scumbags that own these kind of prisons to have people behind bars, and they don't care how and they don't care who. They care about making a profit on their investment. You know, that's the American way, though. Making money on sickness and death and illness. Making money on locking people up in captivity. It's disgusting, isn't it? I personally think it is. Executives at private prison firm Core Civic expect significant growth due to Trump's policies. This was February 12th, 2025. So the for-profit slavery industry, or prison industry, is real happy about Donnie's shitbags. They're going to make tons of money. And El Salvador's already cleared 15 million. Isn't that great? For locking people up that ain't even from that country forever. Isn't that beautiful? Your money paid for that. Donnie sure as fuck didn't pay for that. And now, if you support it, if you voted for it, your name is on sending men to death camps where they never leave. God knows how they're treated or exterminated or not, or worked or starved or not. Your name's on that, son. I really wouldn't want my name on that. And I wouldn't want my name on a for-profit prison where there's a real kind of incentive to keep those cells full, isn't there? Otherwise, you don't make no money, right? Right. I wouldn't want my name on that, son. I don't care if you call it an investment. I don't care if it's in your portfolio. You better take a look at what's in there. You don't want your name on this. Believe me. You don't want to be profiting off of this. Believe me. It won't go well for you. In the place that really matters. Because this place doesn't. And that's becoming more apparent to me every day. The Omen, JD. JD's more horrifying than the Omen. The Pope dying because JD visited on Easter fucking Sunday. More horrifying than the Omen. The Reich that's forming before us. more horrifying than the Omen. Look at that again. Wherever JD goes, satanic calamity ensues. And we'll see more. Trump owes $500 million from his defamation lawsuit. He has not paid it and owes $175,000 a day he doesn't pay. They are not garnishing his wages or assets. Meanwhile, his administration just ruled that student loans that are not being paid will be garnished from Americans' wages. Yes, Biden forgave loans. Donnie said, no, now you owe them again. The guy who never pays his bills, the guy who stiffs every contractor, the guy that owes $500 million for defamation. My God, all the towns he owes for rallies he didn't pay for. And this man dares reinstate loans. I guarantee he won't make none of the Republicans that took PPP loans pay that shit back, right? No, we got to go after the college people, because college people are thought of as liberals, so fuck them. Right, Rubes? You're going to see how well that goes for you. What a shame. Something good happened. Of course, the Antichrist had to roll it back. While he's grifting every dollar that's not nailed down. That's the most beautiful part of it, isn't it? And plus the fact that, he never pays his bills. Ever. The Israeli Air Force carried out a military drill simulating a strike on Iran despite Trump's cautious optimism for diplomacy. So again, Israel's letting you know what's going to take place. Donnie's letting you know. We'll see a comment by Donnie letting you know what's going to take place. It's pretty much inevitable World War III. It's pretty much inevitable Iran will be bombed. Breaking, in a shocking moment, Pete Hegseth just said he will examine the promotion of fat people to leadership positions in the military and seek to stop them. Pete Hegseth is worried about fat guys getting promotions in the military. Here's the question I have for Pete. What about drunks, Pete? Should drunks get promotions in the military? Should drunks get to lead the military? That's the real question. Because I'm not so concerned with a fat guy getting a promotion. I am concerned with a weekend Fox News host pretending to be a tough guy who cares more about his makeup and hair than he does about really being a tough guy. Who drinks gin. Who's obviously drunk most of the time. I'll take the fat guy over this guy any fucking day of the week and twice on Sunday, son. Are you fucking kidding me? Hey, at least the fat guy, Pete, he wouldn't invite reporters into his signal chats and then upload the entire strike package that's about to take place in a half hour, an hour. And he also, the fat guy, probably wouldn't let his wife and kids and grandma sit in on a signal chat where he's discussing imminent strike plans either. The fat guy also probably wouldn't have his own dirty internet line to go to Signal because he doesn't want anything recorded, all the evil he's doing for the Reich. That's the difference between you and the fat guy, Pete. The fat guy's not a drunk. He's not a security risk. He's not an incompetent, unqualified fucking Nazi like you. This is Donnie Shitbags. I'm not happy with the Russian strikes on Kiev. Yes, Russia just struck the capital of Ukraine a few days ago, and it was pretty bad. It was pretty big. And Donnie's trying to be the man of peace here. I'm not happy with the Russian strikes on Kiev. Not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop. That's in caps. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done. Yeah, every time Donnie makes asks this question or proclamation, Vlad always does an immediate bombing like 5 minutes later. Just to show who's in charge. He's done this over and over again. The way Donnie's talking to Vlad, I see him be a lot meaner to other people. For some reason, when it's Vlad, he talks like this. And he says, like, Vladimir, stop, please. That's not how Donnie usually talks. Gee, I wonder why. That's because Donnie Krasnov has been owned by Vlad since 1987. And again, every time Donnie pulls one of these moves and acts like he's telling Vlad to stop, Vlad immediately bombs or whatever, it attacks, just to show again who's in charge. That's important. Remember when Donnie was supposed to have a phone call, or the U.S. government was supposed to have a phone call with Vlad, and Vlad was doing an interview, and his aide said, you know, he's trying to get Vlad's attention to let him know, hey, we got to go do this important interview on the phone, or meeting on the phone. And Vlad just waved it off. That was all intentional. Him waving off the American government and Donnie's shitbags as if they were nothing. That show was for all of us, to show who's in charge here. Vlad's in charge, and that's obvious. Even the rubes know it. A Vladimir stop post on Truth Social appears to be Trump's secret plan revealed to end the war. We have never looked more foolish and pathetic. Indeed, we've got Donnie Krasnov, Russian-owned asset, in the White House. First German concentration camp, first American concentration camp. I thought this was pretty clever. Poland and El Salvador. Following that Nazi playbook, following that Bukele playbook to a T. Getting rid of the judges. That's what Bukele did, but I'll get to that. Just in, India orders all Pakistani citizens to leave by April 29. Indian nationals currently in Pakistan are advised to return to India at the earliest. Indian Ministry of External Affairs. So the shit's jumping off again between India and Pakistan. JD just visited on Monday. They had an attack on Tuesday. But I'll get more into that. Let's continue. India orders all Pakistani citizens to leave by April 29. I just read that. Forgive me. The USA is going to experience supply chain issues. Traffic in all U.S. ports is down. When the supply chain issues hit and people can't get what they need because of Trump's insane tariff war, even MAGA will be crying. There will be no blaming Joe Biden. This is all on Trump. Indeed, we didn't have none of these problems. The Dow was up at 45,000. You people weren't satisfied. The greedy at the top and the rubes at the bottom. Now you're all going to lose your jobs. You're going to lose income. Truckers are going to lose their fucking jobs. Port workers are going to lose their jobs. Store workers that supply or put the products up on shelves, they're going to lose their jobs. And we're almost there where we're really going to start seeing the effect when Chinese container ships stop showing up. It will not be good for us. But that's the point. To dismantle and loot this place and have you vulnerable. So you need them. And then the solution. Donnie coin. Oh, Donnie's selling these. $50 a hat. I'm sure they're Chinese made. Where else would he have them made? Maybe Vietnam now. Trump 2028. Anyone that wears this hat, anyone that promotes this idea, you are a traitor to your country and you are subverting the Constitution. Donnie, this is his second term. He should leave. Did he leave last time? No, he tried to overthrow the government and then you voted for him again. What does that make you, son? I think you know the answer to that question. So now that he's back in power this time, of course he's never leaving. Why would he? We watched the first time he didn't leave. He was waiting to see if his little coup would work before he stepped out of the White House. And, you know, before he actually stepped out, he stole like 3,000 classified documents. So Trump 2028, if you are in favor of this, you are a traitor to your country. The founding fathers would want to execute you. Because that's tyranny. It's 2 terms, son. Again, they're showing you what they're going to do. This person is never leaving. He didn't leave the first time. Why would he leave this time? I will entertain no arguments in favor. Oh, yeah, he'll just leave like Obama did, like Bill Clinton did, like George Bush did. Nope. Never. Leon either. Neither of them are giving up that grift until it's taken out of their hands. It's that simple. And if the story's correct, no one's taking it out of their hands until the man comes back. So again, you might think this is funny, this is cute. No, you're toying with being a traitor. That's what you're doing. And if you're in favor of Donnie staying as dictator simply because you like the R next to your traitor, you're not but a traitor to your country. I'm sorry. I don't care how you justify it. It was bound to happen. Port of LA. This is your warning bell going off. Be prepared. Brace for impact. It's going to get a lot quieter at the Port of Los Angeles real soon. And it has 3 boxes here that shows the amount of containers coming in. The first box for April to April 26, 120,000 containers. April 27 to May 3rd, 86,000 containers are scheduled. May 4 to May 10, 72,000 are scheduled. That number's going way down. That's not good for you. It's not good for truckers. That's not good for port workers. That's not good for anybody. Here's Donnie talking to a reporter. China says it's fake news that trade talks are happening. Trump. Well, they had a meeting this morning. Reporter, who is they? Trump. Doesn't matter. We may reveal it later. As usual, you're reporting wrong. And then he ends the press conference. So Donnie, like a little 3-year-old who wants to come off as in charge, is lying about the Chinese government, calling him up, and begging for trade deals. You know what I hear every time I hear a loud engine on one of those cars like that you just heard? I hear a cry for attention. And I'm sorry if some of you have cars like this. Just please don't take this personally. And there's way too many human beings on this planet that really cry out for attention. When you drive down our normal streets with us normal citizens with your loud-ass shitty car, no one wants to hear your engine. No one wants to hear your booming system. No one wants to hear jack shit from you. Do you understand that, son? And what are you really saying when you go buy the shitty muffler that alters your exhaust and makes the whole fucking block smell like shit? Makes your Hyundai or Honda or fucking little BMW that you ruin or little Porsche that you ruin with the exhaust system. When it's popping as if your engine is backfiring and you're deafening people. You cunts out there. No one wants to hear that. And you know what everyone's thinking when you do that? What a fucking cunt. I'm deaf now. And the air smells like shit. That's what people think. I'm sorry to break it to you. Because those engines and that kind of noise belong on a fucking racetrack, son. You know, the place you don't have the balls to go. So yeah, when I hear engines like that and I hear guys race through parking lots or whatever, all I see is a little boy or girl that's just like so desperate for attention. I mean, fucking desperate. Please notice me, my loud engine as it goes down the street, as if this is the Daytona 500, as if anybody gives a fuck. When everybody's thinking, what a fucking cunt. I've been meaning to give that speech for a while, and it's probably going to offend a lot of people I know, but what? No one wants to hear it. No one wants to smell it. I see dudes ruining Audis, ruining Beamers, ruining nice cars with that shitty exhaust system, son. What is you doing? You are not Vin Diesel. And I know you can't afford a Lamborghini, but you want your car to sound like one. I know. But the ones with the Lamborghinis are cunts too. That doesn't impress me, son. You driving down a 50-mile-an-hour highway at 80 miles an hour, or your engine popping. Nobody fucking cares. Develop a talent or something if you want attention. Learn how to play guitar or sing or I don't know, write good poetry or something, son. Because you're never going to be a race car driver. Okay, let's get back to the apocalypse. Donnie lying his ass off pretending China is calling him on the phone. Like, I don't know, a guy or a girl home on Friday night, hoping their boyfriend or the person they're dating calls, but they never call. And then Saturday comes and they still don't call. And then Sunday, they still don't call. And Monday, they still don't call. That's Donnie Shitbags. That's you. Those of you that have your name on it. Like this person. So I did a thing, and this is at Donnie Shitbags. He's trying to get Donnie Shitbags' attention. Another rube, another mark who fell for it, and now is getting fucked over. Sir, I'm a U.S. Army veteran, singer-songwriter, and proud American. I was charged nearly $1,900 in tariffs under a China trade code on a handmade British guitar from a UK luthier. I don't even know what the fuck that is. This Section 301 tariff was meant to punish China. Why is it being used to punish American veterans who buy art from our allies? I filed a CBP protest, contacted my congresswoman, and I won't back down. Please fix this. I am one of your people. Let me break it to you, Rubes. None of you are his people. I'm not his people. You're not his people. You're just a fucking mark. It's all you ever been. You knew that, but it had an R next to it, so you had to run with it. Because that's how malleable and, you know, you don't have the ability to think for yourself. The brainwashing's too deep. It's R or nothing, even when it's the Antichrist. That's how far your malleability goes. Holy fucking shit. Again, an idiot. We've been screaming for 10 years. Tariffs, you pay it, son. The business ain't paying it. China ain't fucking paying it. You paying it. Jerk off. Here's this guy all surprised that he's got to pay $1,900 extra for a guitar. We've only been yelling it for 10 years, son. Again, a veteran. None of you matter anymore. To Donnie Shitbag. He's in now. You gave him the keys back. We begged you not to. We told you remarks for 10 fucking years. But you knew better. 1,900 on a guitar. Staunch rube. One of Donnie's people, he thinks. No, he's just another mark. This person, Michelle Fiore, the ex-Las Vegas councilwoman found guilty of defrauding donors who believed they were giving money for a statue to honor a fallen police officer, said President Trump has given her a full and unconditional pardon. You MAGA people, you love con men and liars and scammers. My God. You'll probably cheer this woman's pardon on, won't you? You probably cheered on when Bannon got out after he fucking pocketed your fucking money for the wall too, right? Man, you are the best marks ever. Just hold a Bible upside down, put an R next to your name, and you motherfuckers buy anything that's said. we're going to get back to that little piece of news. Vladimir, stop. As Vlad's just riding that pony. Trump, the art of the kneel, and he's motherfucking kneeling. China has him by the fucking balls. And they're making it worse every day. Art of the kneel, baby. And then, yeah, this is beautiful. I love this. Vlad dropping a deuce right where it belongs. Right in his dog's brain. In newly unsealed filings, an ICE official indicates that the government considers 24 hours to be a reasonable amount of time for an Alien Enemies Act deportee to file a habeas corpus claim before removal, or habeas claim before removal. So remember when the Supreme Court ruled that, okay, we're going to kick the Abrego stuff and all the Venezuelans, we're going to kick that down to Texas because we don't have jurisdiction, but you have to give them reasonable time to make a case and try and stay in the country and all that, blah, blah, fucking blah. What did I say to you when the day that ruling came out? I said, well, they could say reasonable time is 24 hours. And they did. Literally what I said to you. Someone in authority said, oh, yeah, you only get 24 hours. Fuck off. Literally what I said to you. And it gets worse. This is just at this point in the day. It gets worse later. 24 hours, I literally said, someone in authority could say, well, I'm only giving you a day. What's the Supreme Court going to do? Go down to Texas and enforce this? Absolutely fucking not. That's why they kicked it down to Texas. They didn't want to make the judgment. So much for reasonable time, huh, people? 1994, a reminder for myself and everyone. This is Bill Clinton, one of the best presidents of my lifetime, despite the blowjob stuff. If Donnie was only getting blowjobs in the Oval Office, I'd be a happy man. So Bill Clinton gave a speech, I believe this is 94, yes, November of 94. And what he's talking about in the speech is he's talking about Ukraine giving up their nuclear weapons, and he's making the promises to Ukraine that we have your back in the future, security-wise. This is why Ukraine doesn't owe you anything, or me anything, or America anything. We owe them. They got rid of their nukes, which was stupid, because America asked them to, and guaranteed security. Are we giving them security? No. Donnie has reneged on that because he works for Vlad, literally. Donnie Krasnov. So our government, I've told many of you this, I've made this argument, but you don't want to hear it. You just want to spout the talking points. I know. We made a deal. We made a promise to these people. So all you people that are coming, out on social media or anywhere saying, no more money to Ukraine. Well, you can't say that. Our country made a deal with them. And they made a major move in their country to the point now their neighbor can attack them at will. And we have Donnie Krasnov, the traitor, in office that doesn't want to help them and is looking for any excuse not to. He also wants to extort them, just like he tried to extort them back in the day to make up some shit about Biden. Now he wants to extort them for their mineral rights and basically to just surrender to Vlad. That's what he's asking. And Zelensky said, fuck off. So I don't want to entertain, or I'm not entertaining any arguments. No more money to Ukraine. No problem paying for the death camp down in El Salvador, though, right? I know why you voted for him. So does the man, despite what you say online or to your coworker at the water cooler. Me and the man, we know exactly why you voted for him. We know exactly why you're fine with financing a death camp down in El Salvador and not helping Ukraine that we promised to help. Because just like Donnie Krasnov, You don't give a fuck about a deal that you make. You give a fuck about your bias and brainwashing and how good it makes you feel, making other people suffer. The man sees it all, don't worry. So do I. Pete Hegseth went around the Pentagon security protocols in his office to be able to use Signal on his personal computer. A dirty internet line, as IT calls it, exposes users to hackers and lacks record-keeping compliance required by law. Yes, Pete and the Reich do not want you to know what is going on. They'll invite a reporter into the chat. Pete will invite his wife and kids and grandma into the chat. But you can't be in the chat, okay? And does anyone want to have a conversation about Hillary's emails? You better not. Because we have guaranteed verified leaks of classified information. We didn't have that with Hillary. Never. We got it with Pete 3 times. This is the 3rd. And again, it's all to avoid record keeping. Ontario reports 95 new measles cases, sending total above 1,000 since outbreak began. Yeah, this measles thing is getting fucking out of control. The numbers are starting to get high. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I had a feeling, though. When it started with Mennonites in Texas or whatever the fuck. When it was all the way back when there was only 40-some cases. Now there's a few thousand all over the place. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. But I figured when Donnie and Leon decided to get rid of all the alert systems for diseases and all these different kinds of things, that they knew who they were and they knew some plagues were a-coming. So they didn't want you to see that shit. Because then you might, oh shit, maybe that story I read when I was a kid or whenever in the Bible, maybe that's true. We can't have that. Pakistan officially closes its airspace to all Indian registered aircraft, including military leased or operator-owned jets, effective immediately, applies from ground level to unlimited altitude, no exception. So the Pakistan-India thing, the reason I'm reading you all these is to show you how it's escalating further and further and further. Right after a certain person visited. Pakistan announces an immediate suspension of all trade with India, including goods routed through third countries. Escalating. JD on Monday visited the leader of India. Vance and Modi meet in New Delhi to discuss trade deal and avoid U.S. tariffs. Now, he went from I don't know, killing the Pope on Sunday, on Easter Sunday, for fuck's sake, right over to India to meet with the head of India to discuss trade. Then there's an attack in Kashmir the next fucking day after JD the couch fucker was there. So we went right from offing the Pope to starting some attack or inspiring some attack in fucking India. And again, I'm being facetious here. I know he didn't kill the Pope, or I hope not, because I wouldn't put anything past these cunts, but they're evil. They're just pure evil. I don't think he killed the Pope, but you know what I'm saying. The Pope died hours after shaking this fucking lesser demon's hand. It's like wherever he goes, satanic, again, mania ensues. He drops that college team's trophy on the ground. Then he goes to visit the Pope. Pope dies hours later. On Easter Sunday, son. Then he goes to India on Monday. Then there's an attack in India on Tuesday. Now we're at the point where India and Pakistan are almost at fucking war. Closing airspace, deporting each other, what was the other one? What did I just read to you? Suspension of all trade. This is insane. What is it with JD shows up and all hell fucking breaks loose. People die. That attack, people died. The Pope died after he shook his hand. What the fuck is this that we're witnessing? It's fucking more horrifying than the Omen, son. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because you're in the real life, Omen. Whether you realize it or not. And no, Baron isn't Damien. Damien walks around in orange face every day. That's who Damien is. So all trade suspended. JD visits on Monday. There's an attack on Tuesday, and then all hell breaks loose between the two countries. Moldova's pig industry collapses under African swine flu outbreak. 118,000 pigs culled. That's 1 in 5 pigs nationwide. 2 major farms hit. Virus now detected in wild boars. Entire regions under quarantine. So it kind of swept through America. Bird flu. Now we have swine flu. I'm noticing a lot of animals dying. 1/3 of the animals, 1/3 of the waters, 1/3 of the stars, which probably really means the angels, not stars per se, falling to earth, which they have. One-third of the waters that hasn't probably happened yet. That'll probably be nuclear. Wormwood. But the animals dying. 1/3 of the animals, I wonder if this is that process. Or will wormwood cause that process? Which again, wormwood translates to Chernobyl. Chernobyl translates to wormwood. Vlad already hit wormwood with a drone or something, missile. Popped a hole in the dome that covers Chernobyl. Maybe that thing will start leaking from that previous strike. Or maybe there'll be another strike. Back when that was written, though, they didn't understand how 1/3 of the waters could be made bitter. Or 1/3 of the land be made unusable. Or 1/3 of the animals die. They didn't understand how that could happen. We perfectly understand how that could happen. Nuclear missiles. Or a nuclear leak in a nuke plant, for instance. That could easily make 1/3 of the waters on Earth unusable, 1/3 of the land unusable, 1/3 of the animals die. That could happen any day of the week. So I expect some nuclear event at some point in this next few years. I don't know how it's going to play out, but that's what I expect. Or maybe it's happening this way through swine flu and bird flu. Maybe that's how 1/3 of the animals would die. There's sure a lot dying. Measles explosion in the DRC, that's Congo. Over 17,000 cases, 288 deaths so far in 2025. 21 of 26 provinces are now in full-blown epidemic. Did you hear me? 17,000 cases. Almost 300 deaths. So far in 2025, that's on top of the Canadian cases, that's on top of the American cases, etc. Here's Leon. He posted that he has 12 kids. The problem is he has 13 kids. And Ron Filipowski is saying, seem like there is one he's not counting for some reason. Again, the richest man in the world, who has millions of bot followers on his website that he bought with Saudi and Russian money, not only talks shit about one of his children outright publicly to all of us, imagine what that does to the child. He also pretends that they're not even alive. And he said that basic thing, that my son is dead. So we assume he's talking about his transgender child. And you know, no matter how you feel about transgender people, if one of them was your child, you'd think you'd, get a stiff upper lip and just, say I have 13 kids and not say they're dead and stuff like that in public. You think you can handle that, but Leon's a Nazi, so that whole thing is a big deal to him. And Leon wants sons that can be, soldiers for the Reich. That's what he's trying to do. So that's what he's more concerned about than his own child. But when he says he has 12 kids and he doesn't count one of them, I mean, that's just evil, son. It's just evil. And again, this is the person, one of two, you handed the keys to your kingdom. Disgusting. Oh my God, it's official. U.S. has relocated an Iraqi refugee to Rwanda as a safe third country, with 10 more slotted to follow. So now we have Iraqis going to Rwanda, a country they're not from. Kind of sounds like the Venezuelans going to El Salvador, doesn't it? In other words, the U.S. government just shipping people, whoever will take the money and take the bodies, that's where they're going. Again, concentration camps, death camps, people being deported to countries they're not even from. You think they're going to survive that? Probably not. I don't know how anyone could proudly put their name on this kind of stuff. It's disgusting. I don't get it. The U.S. is now only giving migrants 12 hours to decide whether they want to contest under the Wartime Authority Alien Enemies Act, down from 24 hours. The government attempted to seal the document, but judge just unsealed it. So they tried to hide the fact by sealing the document. The judge said no, that we're only giving you 12 hours or 24 hours. Again, what did Nikki say? When the Supreme Court said, you have to give them reasonable time, Texas. I said, what if they say we're only giving you a day or a week or whatever? Well, they took one of my suggestions, I guess, or they took one of my predictions, and they went with 24 hours, and then they lowered it to 12, and they tried to seal that so you wouldn't see it. Kind of like a rock star's wife seals a will so no one sees that a daughter from a prior marriage got, cut out of it. The same type of thing. Very evil. Very shady, very nefarious. Why wouldn't you want people to see those actions, Donnie? Rock star's wife? Why hide them if you're so proud of them? Oh, that's right, you're not proud of them. You know you're doing wrong. You know you're doing evil. And you don't want people to think you're evil. I forgot. China cancels 12,000 metric tons of U.S. pork shipments. Donnie's doing great. All you pig farms out there, I'm sure you're thrilled to hear this fucking news, right? 12,000 metric tons of pork. China has now said you can keep that. That's called the Donnie Shitbags effect. And you voted for it, so you got it. I just hope you don't run a pig farm, because it sounds like you're about to have a lot of extra stock that you might not be able to get rid of. China keeps hitting us every day with this shit. And they can do it all day, and it doesn't affect them one bit. It affects us horribly. For the people wondering why the Supreme Court ruled 7-2 to block the Alien Enemies Act deportations, this is why. They told the Trump administration to give people a fair day in court and a chance to file a lawsuit. And Trump's people went, well, we say 12 hours is enough time. And I'm not going to read you the documents. I'll just read you part of the ruling. The notice must be afforded with a reasonable time and in such a manner as will allow them to actually seek habeas relief in the proper venue before such removal occurs. Again, I told you when the Supreme Court made that ruling that the authorities could say, we're giving you 24 hours. They literally did what I said they were going to do. It is a Reich. Donnie's a beast. Leon's a false prophet. You're in the apocalypse. I wish you weren't. It doesn't give me joy or pleasure that we're in this. And again, I'm not on camera to get attention here. I'm tired as fuck. I'm sick as fuck. Yet I'm on here talking to you fucking people. There's a reason for that, because I know where this is going. And we're seeing how ugly it is already. So there should be a few more believers at this point. Not because of me, because of this. And the lawyer again is saying, this is incredible. It signals open defiance of the Supreme Court, which ruled that the government must give people reasonable time to be able to actually seek habeas relief, to be able to actually, not theoretically, sue. Exactly. They're doing exactly what I said the Reich would do, giving these people no reasonable time, even though the Supreme Court said give them reasonable time. Here's the big one. FBI arrests Wisconsin judge in immigration dispute. I have a question. Why are they raiding courthouses unless they're looking for problems with judges? It doesn't make much sense to me. It sounds like they were looking for a problem. Here's the thing. The illegals at the courthouse are actually, abiding the courts. They're showing up for the hearings. So I know there's another reason why they're invading the courthouses. One, they need big numbers. Two, they were looking for this fight with a judge that flipped out. When people show up without a warrant and start tearing up a courthouse, any judge would be furious. And they wouldn't feel like being very cooperative. Not that this woman did anything wrong, as we'll see. Which I knew. Before I even looked at the fucking details. Again, this is a Reich we're dealing with. These are Nazis. This is the Bukele playbook and the Nazi playbook. Arrest the judges we don't like. They've been talking about it. Leon has, Stephen Miller, all kinds of people. Donnie, they've been talking about it for weeks and weeks. I told you, I predicted, I told you way back. I said they're going to get tired of these court rulings stopping them. And they're going to make a move. Well, they made a move on a couple judges within a short amount of time. So this is the first salvo in the Reich arresting judges they don't like. Bukele removed all the top judges in El Salvador. Now he's dictator and there's no one to stop him. That's what Donnie's trying to do. Hitler did the same fucking thing. We knew when they first picked the cabinet picks, all unqualified sycophants, half of them Russian assets. We knew where this was going. Only loyalists allowed in government and around. We can't have judges that will rule against us. We can't have dissidents. We can't have none of it. They're going to be coming for everybody. Just like the old Reich did. This Reich is same as the old Reich. They're making their move on judges now. This is how far in our descent into fascism we fucking are. I told you what this was going to happen. I told you they can't have these rulings. It's slowing things down too much. The Reich will make a move on these people. They're making their move. This is Kash Patel, his comment after the judge was arrested in Wisconsin, which he then took down. Just now, the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot and has been in custody since. But the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public. We will have more to share soon. Well, it's kind of funny. I bet Patel came out of his Vegas sugar daddy's house just for this event. I guarantee it. All of a sudden, he's present when we haven't really heard anything from him yet. Because he's been chilling in Vegas with his sugar daddy. Now, all of a sudden, he's front and fucking center. Gee, I wonder why. To play his role for the Reich, excuse me. The cross-eyed pit bull, sociopath, that role. That's the role he's playing. When they say go arrest judges, because this a Reich, son. That's what he does. And I have a bunch of comments regarding this because I agree with all of them. Mark it 10:11 a.m. April 25th, 2025. We are now arresting judges. Things are accelerating quickly. This is a very dark road we are going down. Indeed. Your country, you just lost a little bit more of your country today. That's what happened, Rubes. You're watching your country be dismantled, looted, and turned into a Reich in real time. And yes, that Reich will come to every Rube's door as well, even as you cheer it on. And it won't be good, I promise you. George Santos got 87 months in jail, 7 years in prison. Donnie could give him a pardon, but Mr. Santos does not have the $2 million. That's, again, my opinion. That's why the pardon hasn't happened, in my opinion. Because if you have the money, Donnie's perfectly willing to give you the pardon. But you got to have the money. Mr. Santos doesn't. Even though Mr. Santos betrayed his own people and his own country by doing white power hand signs on the congressional floor, even though he's a Spanish man or a man of Latin descent, still shilling for the Reich on the congressional floor, making the little white power hand sign. This is where he ends up, because he doesn't have $2 million to buy a pardon, unfortunately. This is Miss Bondi jumping in on the action. I bet she was real thrilled today. Finally, we're getting to some of that real Reich activity I was looking for. Miss Bondi, I can confirm that our FBI agents just arrested Hannah Dugan, a county judge in Milwaukee, for allegedly helping an illegal alien avoid an arrest by ICE. Notice how she says allegedly, because she knows it's bullshit, and she knows what's going on. And the person's asking, they're arresting judges now? Yes, they are. You've lost more of your country. We've already had the death camps. We've had the Nazi salutes. We've had the brown shirts. We have the Gestapo. Got some great stuff going on. Now we got, the big move arresting judges. All of you judges out there, you better band together. You better put the partisan bullshit aside. Because this could happen to any one of you. You know that, right? I know Miss Barrett on the Supreme Court's starting to realize that. Miss Bondi can't wait to arrest you motherfuckers. Anyone that gives the Reich a problem. So you judges out there, you better band together. Stop this. It's actually too late, but I'd like to see you try anyway. 4 months in, and we are already at the arresting judges stage of the breakdown of democracy. Terrifying, terrifying indeed. This is why we were all screaming for 10 years not to put this guy back in power and not to have your name on this shit. And a commenter responds to this. Kathy, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but it's so much bleaker. We're only 95 days in. We only just broke 3 whole months, not 4 months, 3 months. Death camps, Nazi salutes, arresting judges. That's the short list. Timeline. FBI arrests judge who stands up to Trump. Kash Patel tweets about the arrest. Story goes viral. Kash deletes the tweet. U.S. Marshals confirm arrest. Yes, Kash Patel took the tweet down. Dugan is scheduled to appear before U.S. Magistrate Judge Stephen Dries at 10:30 a.m. April 25 on second floor of the federal courthouse, downtown Milwaukee, according to two sources. Brady McCarran, spokesman for U.S. Marshal Service in Washington, D.C., confirmed Dugan was arrested at about 8 a.m. at the Milwaukee County Courthouse and is in federal custody. Meanwhile, a convicted felon is president of the United States, a guy who tried to overthrow the government, stole 3,000 classified documents. You're not hypocrites at all, you people that have your name on this. You're all about law and order, I can see that. Patel has now reposted the tweet. Just now, the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan. I just want to see if the wording's different. I didn't read this. Out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. That already seems a little different, but I'm not sure. We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest. And then he does the "thankfully we chased him down." What happened today in Wisconsin with a politicized FBI arresting a sitting judge for standing up to the president is precisely why Biden pardoned the people he did at the end of his term. Yes, Biden saw, the Antichrist is about to come after everybody and he'll never stop. And 35% of the country is on board. So I got to pardon some people, even though I wasn't going to do that, for the good of the country. But again, you people are insatiable. You want to kill. You want blood. Your orange messiah wants to kill. He wants blood, and he wants yours too, son. He's showing you. Arkansas, Kentucky, no help. You notice that? You people want blood. You're going to get it. From the man. You're going to get it from Donnie too. Unfortunately for you and the rest of us. Because don't worry, the rest of us will suffer too. But the greatest suffering, and I promise this, will be yours. How do I know that? I have the Cliff Notes. And I know what they mean. So that's why Biden pardoned people, because you people are evil. What you support is evil. And that evil, Biden knew would be coming after him. Even though Biden's the righteous man and you people are the unrighteous men. And your orange messiah is the Antichrist. You had the righteous man again and the thief to choose from. You chose the thief. Now you're going to reap the whirlwind because of your thief, not because of me. Here's Donnie again with a reporter. You said you have spoken to President Xi. When did that happen? China says it hasn't happened. Trump, I spoke to him numerous times, so we're leaving and going to Rome. It's going to be very interesting. So, again, Donnie lying his ass off. China has not called, and they're not planning on calling. Sorry. Oh, Donnie's got a 2028, Trump 2028 t-shirt. Isn't that great? Anyone that buys that and wears it is admitting they're an abject traitor to their country and they're subverting the Constitution. How would you like if Obama came back for a third term, Rubes? You would like that, right? What if we were all promoting that idea? All of us crazy liberals out here. I'm sure that's what you think I am, even though I'm not. You wouldn't like that, would you? Or maybe we bring Bill Clinton back. You would despise that idea, right? And you would call us traitors. And that's against the Constitution, wouldn't you, hypocrites? Of course you would. Guess what? Here's the difference between you and me. If Biden was talking shit about staying for a third term, I'd be calling him a traitor too. Why? Because I'm not you. That's why. Because that's unconstitutional as fuck, and that means somebody wants to be a dictator. That's all that means. And whether that dictator had a D next to their name or an R or an I or whatever, I'd want to tell that dictator to fuck off. That's not how we do things here. You don't get to stay after, your time's up. But we already watched Donnie and you people trying to overthrow the U.S. government. So I knew if he got the keys back, he was never leaving. And anyone making an argument that he's going to leave after what we watched on January 6th, you're just not that smart. Or you're disingenuous. One of the two, or both. Trump administration reverses course on student visa cancellations. I don't know what to think of this because they change their mind every day. They canceled a bunch of student visas and they notified people and said, get the fuck out the country. Now they're saying they're uncanceling them. I don't know what to think of this. They change their mind every fucking day. And like I said, the chaos, I guess, is the fucking point. Oh, this is the same day. Donnie directs the Justice Department to investigate Act Blue, which is totally inappropriate, by the way, for the president to tell anyone, to tell the DOJ to investigate any entity, especially a rival entity like Act Blue. So the same day he did that executive order or whatever it was for the DOJ to investigate Act Blue, because that funds his opponents, and Donnie can't have that. He also did this. President Donald Trump has pardoned Michelle Fiore after the former Las Vegas city councilwoman was convicted of wire fraud in federal court. And what she did, I think she collected money for a statue for policemen that died or something. And she kept the money and used it for personal expenses. Like Bannon did with your wall money. But you guys love criminals and you love helping criminals get back out on the street. Hey, you like putting criminals in the White House. Convicted felon Donnie Shitbags. So the same day he orders his Department of Justice, which is totally inappropriate, to order one of his political rival groups, he releases this abject criminal. Why? Because she has the money to pay for a pardon. Mr. Santos doesn't. That's why. Trump plans to target Act Blue Democrats' cash engine. Yeah, the mechanism that funds Democrats. Like all you trolls and mobsters and liars targeted the money for my endeavor. You target the money, they can't continue, right? That was the plan. Then some of your money got targeted. Some of you lost your jobs. All kind of great stuff happened to you. Been fun to watch. President Donald Trump has officially pardoned ex-Las Vegas City Councilwoman Michelle Fiore. Fiore, a firebrand conservative, was convicted of wire fraud in federal court last year for using donations intended for fallen officers' memorial for personal use. There are more grifters in the right-wing movement, man. I've never seen grift like the right-wing grift. And I could have been one of you. But I have a conscience and a soul and morals. And decency, son. You think I didn't see that Pizzagate grift sitting there when I first got online? I could have easily pretended to be one of you people. I did for a while on camera. Because I couldn't let people know who I really am. It's dealing with the mob. The mob that sent people to kill me. I had to give them a little bit to think about. In case they ever wanted to try that again. Students who are pointing this out are being rounded up and in prison. Yes, someone posted some pictures of Rafa. And this is what it looks like. There's nothing there. It's rubble. Here's another one. Fucking rubble. Like I said, this is going to a nefarious place, and it's just more people being displaced off their land, like, or land being stolen for a nefarious purpose to build a resort and a temple. Not a good reason. Not in vengeance for the attack last year. It's not for any of that. It's to glorify a guy named Bibi and a guy named Donnie. And it's going to a real evil place. And the Gazans will be cleared out. They pretty much already are cleared out. There's nothing to go back to, and that was intentional. Especially now that Donnie's there to back up Israel. USDA pulls plan to limit salmonella in poultry. Welcome to the deregulated dinner table. Yeah, I mean, I needed more salmonella in my diet. I don't know about you. Over and over again, we keep reading things like this. Regulations on food being relaxed. That's just what we need in this country, right? As if most restaurant workers, they already don't give a fuck because they're not being paid enough to give a fuck. I don't blame them. Now we're going to have lower standards on the quality of our food before it even gets to the restaurant or the grocery store or whatever. Again, some of you rubes are going to get sick from this. You know that. There's no way for the listeria or the salmonella or whatever to know if you're a liberal or a traitor. There's no way for these animals to know that. It's just going to enter your system and kill you, no matter what way you voted, son. That's the problem with voting for fascist grifters, Nazis, incompetent idiots that just want to dismantle and loot the place to start some fucked up Reich-off. You, your family could get poisoned from tainted food. And no one will care. That's why all those pesky regulations were in place. And it's only to help business owners and Donnie's people. It has nothing to do with helping you, son. You're just the one that's going to get poisoned, that's all. And I guarantee you more food poisoning type events where people die will happen now. Guaranteed. Protesters have gathered outside a federal courthouse in Milwaukee following the arrest of Judge Hannah Dugan. And what I noticed about this protest is it kept getting bigger. And this is what it looked like initially. Judge Dugan, 32 more felonies and she can run for president. That's true. 32 more felonies and she can run for president. All you hypocrites saying this woman should be locked up. She only has 32 more to go to catch up with your boy, Donnie. The one you voted to be president. The traitor you helped go free. That's why you people are naught but hypocrites, and that's why I know you believe in nothing but the R. And the R cost you everything. It cost you your country already, your future, children's future. All gone. For the R. I hope it was worth it. There are two kinds of people, those who would hide Anne Frank and those who would turn her in. Indeed. We're seeing that in America, aren't we? All these alleged Christians, all these rubes that voted for the Reich that have their name on it, they would turn this girl in. They would deport Jesus, and they'd vote for the Antichrist for president, for Caesar, for dictator for the rest of their lives. That's how weak, lost, and malleable they are. In a Time magazine interview, Trump said Netanyahu won't drag the U.S. into war with Iran, then admitted he may very willingly go in himself if there's no deal. I'll be leading the pack. Okay, so World War III is inevitable now. Just so you know. So Donnie's saying if Bibi don't go in, we might bomb him first. And Donnie loves to give the game away. He's not a very smart guy. He kind of just says the shit. So now I'm assuming that we're going to bomb Iran first. That's probably really why Donnie told Bibi to step down. Don't worry, we're going to bomb it, Bibi. We got it. Wait till I'm ready. Wait till I can use it for something. So Donnie will be leading the pack, and he's going to go in himself if there's no deal. You know, just like Greenland, just like Canada, just like Gaza. Time magazine asked Donnie, you said you would end the war in Ukraine on day one. Well, I said that figuratively, and I said that as an exaggeration, because to make a point, and you know, it gets, of course, by the fake news. Obviously, people know that when I said that, it was said in jest. Here we go again, when Donnie can't keep one of his promises or lies. Or Donnie says something like, I'm going to leave the country if I lose. What do you rubes all love to say? Donnie was just joking. No, Donnie doesn't joke. He never jokes. Ever. Here he is again. Mr. I'm going to solve the war problem between Vlad and the Ukrainians on day one when Vlad owns me. Yeah, Vlad laughs at him every time he makes some proclamation for Vlad to stop. He more than laughs, he then will bomb Ukraine immediately, just to show you that Donnie Krasnov is his bitch, not the other way around. And my God, is it obvious at this fucking point. Anyone who's making the argument that Donnie Krasnov is not a Russian asset at this point, or owned by Vlad, you're just being disingenuous, son. I can't take you seriously. So Donnie was just joking again. I feel so much better. I'm sure he wasn't serious at all. ICE agents enter a courthouse searching out illegals, no warrants, start detaining people waiting for or in their own hearings, and now the FBI has arrested a judge for objecting to the rampant abuse of her courtroom. They need to lose the key to Kash Patel's cell. That's a good point. And again, they didn't have a legit signed by a judge warrant. They had some other bullshit. And I don't care what the government says. I've already read the information. They're trying to come out now on community notes and stuff like that to say there was a warrant. No, there wasn't. Here's Time Magazine and Donnie again. Will you call President Xi if he doesn't call you? No. You won't? Nope. Has he called you yet? Yep. Like a pissed off little child. When did he call you? Liar. No, he didn't say liar. He's called, and I don't think that's a sign of weakness on his behalf. It's definitely not a sign of weakness because Xi never called. But you would think it's a sign of weakness if you called him. That's what Time said. I don't. I just look. Well, what did he say? That's Time again. If people want to, well, we all want to make deals, but I am this giant store. Oh, I forgot about this part. This is where Donnie proves everything I've said about him. He thinks he's Caesar of the entire world. You ready? If people want to, well, we all want to make deals, but I am this giant store. It's a giant, beautiful store, and everybody wants to go shopping there. And on behalf of the American people, I own the store. I own the store. And I set prices. And I'll say, if you want to shop here, this is what you have to pay. What did I tell you? If you want to do business in this world, you must pay tribute to Donnie Shitbags. Why? Because he owns the store. That's why. In his mind. And when he says, on behalf of the American people, I own the store. No, he means I own the store. Not on behalf of anybody. I've been saying this for a few months now. He thinks he's Caesar. And if you want to do business in this world through the Suez, Panama, anywhere in the United States, outside the United States, you must pay Caesar. He thinks he's Caesar of the world. He just proved it with that fucking statement. And he said the magic words, I own the store. What about Gaza? We're going to own it. We're going to own it, you say. A piece of Palestine. So this is how Donnie thinks. We're going to own it. Not the Antichrist at all, right? Not the apocalypse at all. Not dystopian at all. Not utterly, strangely supernatural. Totally logical and normal, right? Right. China, U.S. not having any talks on tariffs. U.S. should stop creating confusion. That's from the Chinese embassy. In other words, the Chinese are literally saying, the entire government of China is saying, Donnie Shitbags is a liar. We never called. We have no intention of calling. Donnie is completely making the story up, and he shouldn't cause confusion this way. That's your orange messiah. These days when DHS and ICE come knocking, they remotely take out your Wi-Fi beforehand so that you can't live stream the interaction, and to disable Ring cameras. Some of you people have your cameras hooked up to the internet at your front door. That gets disabled if it runs through Wi-Fi. There's a little story here. I'm not going to read it. You get the point. This person explained how his Wi-Fi went out right before they busted in his house. So keep that in mind. And have your smartphone ready to film. Why protest? Because it is easier than hiding a family in your attic. Indeed. That's what protests are for. They're for when the Reich starts getting out of hand and you need to rein it back in. Before you need to hide people in your attic from the Reich. Like Anne Frank. U.S. Republicans in Congress to unveil a $150 billion defense spending package, including $27 billion for Trump's Golden Dome missile defense. So Congress, again, has their priorities very straight. We need a Golden Dome missile defense, as if we don't have the best missiles in the fucking world and the best missile defense already. I'm sure we do. $27 billion is going to go out for that. Who do you think is going to get that? Well, that'd be Leon and others associated with Leon. So Leon, this is all I hear in this statement. Leon's about to get another multi-billion-dollar contract of your money as he takes things away from you. Some of you, even your job. That's all I hear in this statement. And I don't think we really need this missile defense system. I think most of the money is just going to go in people's pockets. That's all this is. It's a grift, son. You're being dismantled and looted. Then they came for the judges isn't in the poem, because at that point the game has been over for a while. Well, honestly, it's been over since last November. I knew that immediately. That's why I was screaming on camera, begging the rich, begging the poor, begging the rube not to do it. And you didn't own the libs, son. You owned yourself. The Reich will come for all of you, all of us, everybody. You're not exempt. Look at Arkansas. Look at Kentucky. Donnie just told him to fuck off. So yeah, well, by the time they start arresting judges, you're long into the Reich. And it took them a whole 3 months to make the big move. So we're a little over waist deep, probably about right here, rib to chest deep in the water, the Reich water. We'll be neck deep soon, don't worry. So yeah, once they get to the judges, it's over. It's been over since November, like I said. And something else I should probably say that I do say quite often, I hope I'm wrong about everything. Because I'm not you. I don't need to be right. I don't need to be right to feel good about myself. I'd rather be wrong, honestly, with the shit I'm talking about. So yeah, by the time they came for this judge, our country was already gone. I said the first time they deploy a van and disappear somebody, our country's gone. That we're well past that bullshit. In fact, when they deport you to a death camp in El Salvador, and then they admitted court they weren't supposed to do that to you, and it was a mistake, they fight tooth and nail to keep you there. And the dictator of El Salvador would even try and get, his agents to put like margaritas there when you're talking to a senator. That's how far they go, and they mock the process of making sure this guy's alive. Again, you people are demons. You people with your name on this. I hope you undemon yourself. Because Bukele, what he was doing, that's pure demon shit. He's got an innocent man in El Salvador and America locked up. Everyone knows he shouldn't be there. Government admits it's a mistake. Senator has to travel down there and risk his fucking life. Bukele and Donnie mocked the entire process on social media of this man being held in El Salvador via your taxpayer money, even though he's fucking innocent. That's some demon shit, son. That's what your name's on. I hope for your sake you take your name off it, because the man won't be as kind as I am. You think I yell a lot, curse a lot, I'm abrasive, I'm harsh? Wait till you see the man, son. Why do you think I'm doing this? I don't want to face the wrath of the man. That's part of it. I know better. And I know what he expects of me right now. And I better do what he expects. This whole exchange from Trump's 100 days interview with Time is just incredible stuff. Let's go through it quickly. In our interview last year, Mr. President, you committed to complying with all Supreme Court orders. I said, what? See, Donnie, dementia. He don't even know don't know what lie to go to. He just don't even know. You committed to complying with all Supreme Court orders. Yeah. When you and I spoke last April, are you still committed to complying with all Supreme Court orders? Sure, I believe in the court system, as he's literally defying the court system. He just arrested a fucking judge. The Supreme Court ruled 9-0 that you have to bring back Kilmar Abrego Garcia. You haven't done so. Aren't you disobeying the Supreme Court? Well, that's not what my people told me. They didn't say it was. They said it was. The 9-0 was something entirely different. Look how he throws the lawyers right under the fucking bus. That's you, Miss Bondi. He ain't done either, Miss Bondi. Let me quote from the ruling. The order properly requires the government to facilitate Abrego Garcia's release from custody in El Salvador. Are you facilitating a release? I leave that to my lawyers. I leave that to my lawyers so they can go to jail. I added that part. I leave that to my lawyers. I give them no instructions. You hear this, Miss Bondi? Eager advocate, eager beaver for the Reich. Do you hear this? They feel that the order said something very much different from what you're saying, but I leave that to my lawyers. Look how many times he's saying that. You know what this reminds me of, people from way back? A guy named Pasek doing an interview for Law Dragon. And he brings up the point that some rock star's wife called him like 5 minutes after her husband died. She didn't go attend to the body or anything like that. She called an insurance attorney. And the insurance attorney in the interview kept going, I know it seems strange that they called an insurance attorney, but blah, blah, we're really friends and blah, 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 blah. He said this like 3 or 4 times in one interview. Reminds me of this. If they want, and that would be the Attorney General of the United States and the people that represent the country, I don't make that decision. Says the leader of the Reich, says the Fuhrer, who's behind all of this. Look at you, Miss Bondi. Look at you. Right under the fucking bus. Because Donnie's first thought in any interview, his first and foremost thought is, I got to make sure I don't go to prison and I'm responsible for nothing. Here he is again. And this ain't the first person high up and first group of people that he's thrown under the bus. Look at how many, just in this section, he had already said it in the prior section. Says it about 4 more times. I want to read this again. I leave that to my lawyers. I give them no instructions. They feel that the order said something very much different from what you're saying, but I leave that to my lawyers if they want, and that would be the Attorney General. He even names which lawyer, son. The Attorney General of the United States and the people that represent the country. I don't make that decision. Miss Bondi, right under the fucking bus. Hard fucking core, 8, 9 times in 2 paragraphs. Maybe, but Mr. President, whatever he might have done, whoever he might be affiliated with, doesn't he deserve his day in court? Nazi saboteurs who came on our shores at Montauk during World War II had their day in court. Al-Qaeda terrorists had their day in court. Donnie had his day in court. I really give that to my lawyers to determine. There he goes right again. Miss Bondi right under the bus again, baby. It's all he knows how to do. I told you, he turns on fucking everyone. I really give that to my lawyers to determine. That's why I have them. That's not my determination. It's something that, frankly, bringing him back and retrying him wouldn't bother me. But I leave that up to my lawyer. You could bring him back and retry him. How many times is he going to blame the lawyers for this? And yes, it would bother him. This whole deporting brown-skinned Latin people is his idea. And Stephen Miller's and Leon's and others. Miss Bondi's just carrying it out. She enjoys it. But look, she's been thrown under the bus, I don't know, what, 15 times already? In 3 paragraphs? That's impressive, baby. And yes, Donnie would be extremely bothered by him being brought back, obviously. That's exactly right. You could fix this simply by bringing him back and going through the legal process. Again, but I leave that decision to the lawyers. At this moment, they just don't want to do that. Blaming it all on the lawyers, my God. Oof. He proves me right at every turn, baby. So do you rubes. At this moment, they just don't want to do that. They say we're in total compliance with the Supreme Court. What about the lower courts? Are you committed to complying with lower courts? Sure, all courts. Have you asked Dictator Bukele to return him? I haven't. He said he wouldn't. Did you ask him? But I haven't asked him positively, but he said he wouldn't. But if you haven't asked him, then how are you facilitating his release? Well, because I haven't been asked to ask him by my attorneys. Nobody asked me to ask him that question except you. Oh my God. What have you fucking people done? He's the president of the United States, the most, I don't know, you're basically the king of the world when you have that position. No one can really fuck with you. And he's saying the reason why he's not bringing this innocent man back from the death camp is because his lawyers haven't asked him to. No one's asked me except you, you mean reporter. How dare you ask the Antichrist to bring that innocent man back from the death camp? Oh my God, what have you people have signed your name to? Pure, abject fucking evil. Again, I hope you take your name off it. I wouldn't want to be you. Oh, this is Donnie showing Laura Ingraham, the new Donnie Trump 2028 hat. It looks like he has this in the White House somewhere. My God, what an abomination this is. What sacrilege this is. He had it behind curtains. He pulled the curtains to the side to unveil the hat. What the fuck have you people done? Again, to even suggest this and put it in the White House behind curtains in a frame. Because anybody down with this idea is a traitor to America. Donnie's showing you he's a traitor to America and he wants to become dictator by putting this up. And you know what he said as he pulled the curtain back? Like a teenage boy showing his girlfriend or a friend of his. He said, "Oh, this is really cool. Look, this is really cool." The President of the United States showing us he wants to be dictator for life and literally defy the Constitution, betray the country, overstay his welcome after trying to overthrow the government. Literally being a traitor to the Constitution and his country in the White House. I'm astounded by this. Again, it just shows you how comfortable Donnie's getting in his Caesarship. Not good for you, Rubes, or the rest of us. Hundreds of protesters have gathered outside a federal courthouse. Again, the Wisconsin protests started getting a little bigger, I noticed. There's some videos of it out there. And I just kind of took pictures as I saw the posts throughout the day. Again, the crowd got a little bigger in Wisconsin. It just kept kind of growing throughout the day. Let's discuss the actual charges against Judge Hannah Dugan using the complaint against her. She sent the man in question into the public hallway where agents were there to arrest him, watched him walk by, and did nothing. Again, oftentimes when these stories come out, I don't go to an article and read the details right away because I already know what they are. So I read what people were saying about it, what the Reich was saying about it, and the fact that Patel took his original post about arresting this woman down told me there was something shady, something fucked up to this. So when I finally look at the legal documents and I look at someone break down the legal documents, they basically say that the judge let the person out or directed them out to a hallway that led to a public hallway where agents were literally waiting to arrest the man. They let the man walk by and didn't arrest him, and they're blaming her for a foot chase. Total bullshit case here. And again, these two judges getting arrested in such close proximity, do you think that wasn't planned, son? This is a publicity stunt to get that precedent set of arresting judges the Reich doesn't like. Just like Bukele did, just like Hitler did. It's disgusting, and they have no case against this woman. It's weak as fuck. But that doesn't matter. They just wanted to get the ball rolling on arresting judges. They want that fear. in all the judges' minds. And if that doesn't work, then they're going to continue arresting judges. This is a Reich, and it's going the way of a Reich. All the way. And again, you lost more of your country today. It's never coming back. That's all that happened today. It's not good, Rubes. I don't care how good you think it is. When you're the one not getting due process, when you're the one facing an utterly crooked judge, because only loyalist sycophants will be in any government position, you won't think it's so great, trust me. When the right comes knocking on your door, you won't think it's so great. When they start rounding up Jews and Christians, you won't think it's so great. Trust me. Musk wants to leave politics because he's tired of the attacks from the left. Musk is never leaving politics. He paid $230 million for that office. This is his wet dream. He gets to start the Reich he always dreamed of. He's never leaving. Don't ever believe that for a second. So someone left a comment. The guy isn't in politics. Nobody voted for him. He didn't do shit. Stole a shit ton of data. Government spending is actually up. Ruined the careers of thousands of people and then decided to, not for me. Doesn't matter if he leaves the Trump administration tomorrow. He made his bed. Also, when you're a fascist, everything looks to be the left of you. What an absolute piece of shit. Indeed, all of that's true right there and more. And no, he's not leaving. The same thing happened with Twitter. Everybody hated his guts. He put a poll up, said, should I step down? And even though he has, 87 million bots on this website that he controls, he still lost the poll. And he promised to step down. So he hires Linda Yaccarino as a figurehead and still runs Twitter himself. He didn't leave nothing. Tesla. He talked about stepping back from the leadership role there. He never did. He still runs it right into the fucking ground. Government. Everyone hates him. Says he's going to step down. Well, he didn't step down from Tesla, and he ruined that company. He didn't step down from Twitter, and he ruined that company. So what do you think he's going to do after he ruined the United States? This company. He's not going to step down, son. Sorry. Reporter to Donnie, why did you feel it was important for you to go to the Pope's funeral? I just thought it was out of respect. I won the Catholic vote. I have a great relationship to the Catholics. I got 56% of the vote. I don't know why I didn't get more. Donnie turns the death of the Pope immediately into let's brag about Donnie. It's incredible to watch. When his lesser demon JD fucking killed the Pope. And again, I'm being facetious when I say that. But, the timing's awful coincidental. And I'm thinking maybe it's just because the Pope touched the hand of a demon or something. And he was too old to handle it. I don't know. It could be as simple as that. And the Pope really tried to avoid the couch fucker. He sent an emissary out to meet him. Like, I don't want to meet that cunt. JD, the demon, weaseled his way in. And now the beloved Pope is dead. I have to say this about the Pope. I'm learning a little bit more about him. And I've talked shit on popes in the past. How they shouldn't live like earthly kings. And they should live a humble life and be an example like Jesus Christ was. This Pope that just died, allegedly, took a vow of poverty. That's impressive to me. Had less than $100 to his name, no investments, nothing. He lived in a little apartment and not in a big major Vatican residence. If he really lived that life, even though he could have had a lot more, then I have a certain level of respect for him. Because that's akin to Jesus Christ, trying to set a humble example. Not a Joel Osteen, let me drive around in Ferrari example. Or a pope with a gold crown and a gold staff and all that, earthly king example. Pope Francis seemed to be a little different. And I commend him if he lived up to that vow of poverty. Because that takes real discipline when you could have a lot more money and a lot more gold and a lot more fun. But I can't verify, his papal salary as well. Well, roughly 400 euros or something. He didn't take the salary, according to the story I read. I hope it's true. Oh, Luke Skywalker. This is the Mark Hamill account. Luke, Master Jedi, Luke Skywalker. The real Luke. The real Luke. We have now arrived at the arresting judge's level of fascism. And he's saying that over Kash Patel's tweet of arresting the judge earlier today. So Luke Skywalker, the one who knows the difference between good and the dark side better than any of us, is stating what we all know, what we all saw today. We have now arrived at the arresting judge's level of fascism. Luke's saying, the people that support this and what you saw today, that's the dark side. That's the side you're on, son, if your name's on this. You want to be on the side of Luke Skywalker or the side of Darth Vader? Which side do you want to be on? I'd rather be on the side of Luke Skywalker, personally. I don't know about you. Vader didn't seem like too nice of a guy. So even Luke Skywalker's talking shit. And Luke knows what's up with it between the good side and the dark side. You're on the dark side. I hope you stop being on the dark side. I hope you leave. Here's one that's going to get you. Bernard College staff alarmed by federal survey asking if they're Jewish. I'm going to have to light a cigarette for this one. Because again, this is proving shit. And basically at Bernard College, they got a letter from the government basically asking them all who on the staff is Jewish. And if they've experienced any anti-Semitic stuff or harassment or whatever. Now, this is a Reich. Leon with the Nazi salute, he showed us it's a Reich. They're taking away anything DEI, aka black or minority. That's what that means to them. They're taking away anything woman, anything the Holocaust, anything like that. And we got the Nazi salute with Leon. And then we have things like making lists of autistic children or autistic people. Why would the Reich want a list of autistic people? Why would the Reich want a list of Jews? Let's read a little bit. When employees at Bernard College received a survey this week asking if they were Jewish, among other personal questions, many initially disregarded the message as spam from a federal government impersonator. The questionnaire sent by text to their personal cell phones. Okay, it wasn't a letter, it was a text sent to their personal cell phones by the Reich. Linked to a Microsoft form bearing the logo of the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, after instructing respondents to check a box indicating whether they were Jewish or Israeli. Let that sink in for a moment as I smoke. A text message comes to you as a college worker asking you if you're Jewish after you saw a guy named Leon do a Nazi salute on Inauguration Day. Let that sink in. Whether they are Jewish or Israeli, and whether they practice Judaism. It asks if they had experienced harassment as a result, including unwelcome comments, jokes, or discussions. Your first thought is this has to be fake, said Nara Milanik, a Bernard history professor who is Jewish. But on Wednesday, the recipients of the text messages, which were first reported by The Intercept, learned they were authentic. In an email to staff, Bernard's general counsel, Serena Longley, confirmed that the survey was part of a federal probe into whether the university had discriminated against Jewish employees. The EEOC, a federal regulator, had ordered Bernard turn over staff contact info so that it could offer employees the option to voluntarily participate in their investigation, Longley wrote. So we've got an anti-Christian bias task force started by Miss Bondi. Now we have an anti-Semitic task force basically being formed, it looks like. And they want you to snitch on your fellow employees. This is starting to feel real Reiki to me. I don't know about you. Again, you got the brainworm guy months ago talking about putting drug addicts in camps. You got the brainworm guy wanting to make lists of autistic people and says they can't contribute to society in any way. They're just not capable. That's according to the brainworm guy. We have anti-Christian bias task forces. We have the Reich asking employees to snitch on fellow employees if they display anti-Christian bias or anti-Semitism, according to the Reich. I don't like where this is going. First of all, again, the government isn't supposed to be advocating for any religion. First of all, that's already way wrong. Way against the Constitution. No state-sponsored religion. Now we've got them sending text messages straight to people's phones asking, "Are you Jewish?" I had a thought when I heard this story. Wouldn't it be interesting, or maybe, let's not say would it be interesting, maybe the scenario really is that we have a Nazi Reich and they want a list of all the Jews and Christians. And they want a list of infirm autistic people. And these are the lies they tell in the beginning to get that list. Just a thought I had. Because I know Donnie was never the protector of Judaism or Christianity, and he could fucking care less. In fact, he's actually the Antichrist, and he worships Satan. That's how far the other way Donnie goes. And he wants to be Caesar of the world. And he wants to lock up and kill anyone that he feels is undesirable. I'm not joking. I don't know, this makes me feel real uncomfortable. Jewish people or college staff getting direct text messages from the Reich saying, "Are you Jewish? Could you check the box for Jewish, please? So we can make a list." And it's for your protection. That's why we want to know if you're Jewish or not. Because we need to do this song and dance right now that we're the protectors of Christianity and Judaism, because we need a resort built and a temple. So we need those two communities for now. But it sure would be nice to have that list when we're ready to dispose of those two communities. That's what's happening, in my opinion. I think everyone should read the affidavit that was filed regarding Judge Dugan's arrest, because what I read says the man in question and his attorney were in the public hallway where agents watched him and his attorney, and they didn't arrest him. Indeed. We all know what it was. It was the Reich finally making their move against judges. Like I said to you people, they're going to get tired of all these court verdicts going against the Reich. It's slowing them down. They don't have a lot of time. Because we're in the apocalypse. And the apocalypse has an expiration date. Jeffrey Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre dies by suicide at 41 years old. The same way Jeff died, under Donnie's watch, shortly after Bill Barr visited. And Bill Barr's daddy hired Epstein to be a teacher at an all-girls school. Did you know that? I knew that. So Bill has ties too. Why do you think Bill showed up at the prison? That was to let Jeffy know. You better not open your mouth. And that was probably to give instructions on what was going to happen later. Real convenient that the guards weren't watching, cameras weren't watching, no one saw jack shit. Most high-profile fucking criminal ever in modern times. Bill Barr visits him. A little while later, he's dead. On Donnie's watch, I know the Clintons snuck in there and killed him, right? Right, Rubes? He didn't have 18 contact numbers for the Clintons in his contact book. I looked at it. He did have like 18 numbers for Donnie Shitbags and his family, though. So Virginia dies by suicide. I don't know anything about this. I really hope it wasn't a fake suicide, a staged suicide. We've seen those before, right? We certainly have. All I know is this woman is one of the most outspoken accusers of a prince, of a president, of a high-level investment guy named Mr. Epstein. And now she's dead by suicide at 41. Same way Epstein went. Please read the phrase deported a 2-year-old U.S. citizen slowly a few times to make sure you absorb it. Yeah. A federal judge raised alarm Friday that the Trump administration appeared to have deported a 2-year-old U.S. citizen to Honduras with no meaningful process, even as her father was fighting to keep her in the country. Yes, we're deporting 2-year-olds. Your name is on that. Your money is paying for it. I hope you're fucking proud of yourself. One more time. Please read the phrase deported a 2-year-old U.S. citizen slowly a few times to make sure you absorb it. Ron Filipowski says he probably had gang tats. A federal judge raised alarm Friday that the Trump administration appeared to have deported a 2-year-old citizen to Honduras with no meaningful process, even as her father was fighting to keep her in the country. Probably had gang tats, right? Again, convicted felon in the White House. You guys had no problem voting for that, though. Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre was found dead in her home after stating that she was given 4 days to live following a car crash last month. Her death has been ruled a suicide. 4 days to live from a car crash that happened last month. I don't know. Something's not sounding right to me there. Something sounds a bit strange about this. And that's the end. And I've been on way too long. And let me just say this before I go. What you witnessed today by that judge getting arrested is more of the downfall of your nation. That was a huge step. And anyone cheering it on, you're only cheering on, you're cheering on Abrego Garcia, no due process, all that. You're only cheering on yourself receiving no due process at some point. Where do you think this is going? Donnie already said we're moving to U.S. citizens in the prisons. That's next on the list. What comes after that, son? Class. After U.S. citizens in prison getting deported, then it's U.S. citizens not in prison getting deported. That means you. Depending on your behavior. And like I said, you might get mad one day. Maybe you're losing your farm because of Donnie shitbags and you say something you shouldn't say. Next thing you know, you get a knock on the door. Someone told on you, your child, your wife, your neighbor, whatever. You're on a flight to El Salvador and Bukele's cashing another check because that's all you are. The private prison system in America doing, that has those women that got sent back from CCOT. That could be you too. Why? Because people like Bukele and people that run private prisons, they just need bodies, son. Bodies equals money to them. They don't care if you're fucking innocent or guilty or got due process. They got a cell to fill and they get rent for that fucking cell. That's all you are, is a commodity. It's a business now. Enslavement is a business. Captivity is a business in El Salvador and here. Disgusting evil, and I wouldn't want my name on any of it. So what you witnessed today was the further dismantling of your country, the further removing of the guardrails. I literally told you they were going to do this. I told you the right cannot have these rulings constantly going against them. It slows them down. They're going to start arresting people. They're going to make a move. This is the opening move. And everybody seems down. The right's all for it. And they're going to make as big of an example out of this woman that did nothing wrong as they can. And again, people, your name, if you voted for this or you support it, is still on arresting judges, death camps, Nazi salutes, etc. If you're fine with all that, if you like Nazi salutes, I have a story you should read. It's called Revelation. And there's a lake mentioned in it, a lake of fire. You need to read about that lake because it so concerns you. So today was another very sad day for America. And you greedy at the top made it happen, and you rubes at the bottom made it happen. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want my name on deporting 2-year-olds. I wouldn't want my name on purposely and laughing while you're doing it, imprisoning an innocent man named Abrego down in El Salvador. I wouldn't want my name on any of this. Taking Social Security checks away from old ladies, calling them parasites. The dismantling and looting of your country. Donnie about to start World War III. Annexing others' territory. Death camps. For profit. I wouldn't want my name on none of it. And again, today was a real sad day for America. We watched an innocent judge just get straight up made an example of for the Reich. And I know you rubes are clapping right now. Wait till you see where we are a year, 2 years from now. So many of you are crying already about what you've lost. Imagine what you'll lose by then. But I tried to warn people, man. I tried so many other people for 10 years. I kept saying, everyone will be crying at the end, and get out of the cult while you still can. Hope you listen before that mark comes around. Because once you take that, it's all over for you. There's no coming back. Anyway, until the next episode, have a wonderful evening.